Alrighty, hello everyone. Here for another episode of the Agent Breakdown series that we're doing here on the channel. I'm Hephaesterhoff, joined by Fish in a Suit, and today we're going to be breaking down Raze. Now, Raze is an agent that specializes in supporting good gunplay through damage done with her abilities. So her C ability here is her Boombot, costs 200 creds. Gonna go buy that one. And then her Q ability is a blast pack. Each charge costs 200 packs as well. For this example, we're gonna go ahead and buy both charges here. And then you're gonna see that her E ability, which is her paint shells, or sometimes better known as just her grenade ability, is her signature ability that has the same charge system as a Jet E, meaning that once you use it, or a Phoenix E as well, once you use it, if you get 2 eliminations, you get a second charge of it. So we're going to run onto A site real quick. Something worth noting about Raze that a lot of people don't seem to realize is that her C, which is her, I think it's called a Boombot, or the little thing that I'm holding here, you can see the arrows on the ground with the direction that it's going to go. Now, there's going to be times where you can't get into a position, open up like this, to try and deploy it and have it hit someone, because they're firing on you. If you aim it at this wall, it's going to bounce off this wall about here, and it's going to go back this way. And for another example, if you were to use it here, like this, what would happen is it would bounce off this wall here, reflect back here, follow the same sort of trajectory forward. And you really need to be careful with how you use it, because getting it stuck in, you know, a hallway or two walls like this and having it bounce back and forth, having Austin Powers itself, is, to put it kindly, one of the least tactical things you can do. So make sure that you're using walls to your advantage here to go ahead and have the Boombot scope out areas that you can't see for you. You can see how it activates as well and then goes to blow up. Now that does two things. One, obviously it deals the damage when it blows up to try and get some damage down on your enemies. I'm going to go ahead and get the kill here. But two, it also scopes out the area for you as well. So the audio cue... Man, Raze talks a lot. The audio cue for your C changes between when it's just simply roaming towards its path and when it has spotted an enemy. And this is important because you can use your C sort of as a scouting tool that once it spots an enemy, you know that in the line of sight of where your Boombot was heading, there is an enemy. And what I mean by that is, if the enemy breaks line of sight by maybe ducking behind the boxes on A, the Boombot is no longer gonna chase them, because line of sight's been broken, and so you'll hear the little aggressive ticking noise. I'll put it down again real quick so you can hear what it sounds like. That noise right there. So if they break line of sight, or if they shoot it like he just did, it's going to be obvious that there's somebody there, but you're also going to know that they have moved out of the straight line of sight. So in this particular case, when it activated about here, you're going to know that he moved left or he moved right. Now next up is her Q ability. I'm going to go ahead and just throw it down and let it expire on its own. It's just her little satchel ability. Now, worth noting, it does deal damage to enemies. Very small amount, and it increases by quite a bit the closer you get. I believe it does about 75 if you hit them directly with it. But it also is a repositioning tool for Raze herself. Now, something worth noting, and something very important that a lot of people don't seem to realize. When you use your Q ability, the explosion that it does will damage your allies, and it will destroy stuff like Cypher's tripwires for your allies. Friendly fire is enabled on all of Raze's abilities, and her Q is no exception to that. So what I mean by a repositioning tool, characters without a relocation tool cannot make this jump up here. Let me get Plant down real quick. So with Raze's Q, Once you put it down, you'll see here in a second, if you re-tap Q, instead of throwing out the second charge if you have both charges, what you do is you activate the first charge to cause it to detonate. So I put it down, and then I jump and reactivate Q. You're going to see how it pushes me upwards. Now, it doesn't deal any damage to Raze, but that would have hurt my allies. And it doesn't push back allies. It only pushes back Raze. So this next round, we're going to go ahead and demonstrate how Raze's Q abilities can be used as a sieging tool against something like Sage Walls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Fish go ahead and set up his wall right at the defender side entrance into A side showers. And I'm going to show how you can use Raze's C and Q abilities together to break down a Sage wall and get a little bit of a better view of where the enemy might be before you actually have to look into the site. So clearly it's walled off right here. Now, Raze's Q ability, her satchel, sticks to a wall if you throw it onto one. Just like that. And you can reactivate it with a Q. You can see how it just completely blew this one open. Now, assuming I didn't see him, or if it slowed down exactly, the Boombot ignores the slow. You see how I bounced it off her own wall, and it scouted her out for me. Now, it happened to blow up this wall, but if it was further away, it wouldn't have. And so we've used two of Raze's abilities, which are completely designed for damaging and repositioning as siege tools. And so you'll notice how if I throw it onto just any wall, it just sticks to it. And there's a little timer down at the bottom above the Q, and it is shootable by enemies. That's a very good point that Fish just made. If you are on the enemy team and you see a Raze satchel go down and you can hear it, it also has that audio cue, you can shoot it before they have the chance to detonate it, which means that they can't use it as a siege tool, and they can't use it as a repositioning tool as well.
30 seconds left.
So the last ability, and Raze's, I think I said it was her signature ability already, but I think it's also her best ability in a vacuum, is her grenade ability, which is her E. Now you're going to notice when I have it out, there's two indicators down there to show the two types of ways you can throw it. And it's just like Phoenix E, where you can left click or primary fire to throw it with more oomph, or you can right click and kind of just have it lob out of your hand a little bit. So I'm going to demonstrate the right click or alternate fire mode, which is sort of just throw it out in front of you. Now Raze's grenade has two modes. The first one is just the initial grenade explosion, and then it splits up into 4 grenades and each do another explosion. So you see I just kind of lobbed it at my feet, and then there's 4 more out there. Now, notably, the initial explosion on Raze's E ability does, it almost feels like it does less damage than the initial 4 that come out of it. And the reason I think that is because of how close together the 4 that come out of the initial explosion can really be. I mean, if I'm hiding in this corner here, and a Raze throws her grenade here, the initial blast is going to hit me, but then 2 more are going to burst out because the 4 come out in sort of an X. Like one would be up here, one would be up here, one would be down left, and then one would be down right. So the left and the right one are both going to hit me if I'm not getting out of here quickly enough. So perhaps on a per explosion basis, the 4 that come out of the initial blast don't deal as much as the first one, but they're so clumped together that when you get hit by more than one, they do deal more than that. So next I'm going to demonstrate the left click or alt primary fire mode. So you'll see it is the left icon above the E right now. And so now I could just throw it at Fish's feet and have it explode just like I did last round. But something that he brought up before the game is there's a little trick where Raze's grenade goes off, the initial explosion goes off after a certain amount of time, no matter where the grenade happens to be. So what I'm going to try and do is basically just throw the grenade almost straight up. You're going to see how it explodes in midair. And now the second blasts do not go off after an initial timer. They wait to settle onto the ground to explode. So there are situations where you're going to want to rain down the secondary grenades on an area where perhaps you don't have complete vision, or an area where you don't want the blast to be concentrated because there's multiple entrances that you want to cover. An example that I can think of off the top of my head is if you would wanted to land a grenade somewhere around here, you could have maybe 2 of the blasts going here right in front of the door, and then maybe 2 of them going up here if you were back here, and you could throw it up and have it try and land right there. Obviously, it's a corner case scenario, but this game is unique enough that corner case scenarios come up more often than you think. Alright, last round we're going to go ahead and demonstrate Raze's ult, which is pretty straightforward. It's basically just a rocket launcher shot. Now, I believe baseline Raze ultimate deals 200 damage if you're caught in the just the regular blast radius of it, falling off based on how much distance you put between the blast and yourself.
Let's start this party.
Alright, so you're going to notice when I use her ultimate, there's going to be an audio cue, as there is with every ultimate in the game. And you're also going to notice that right above my ability bar, there is a little cooldown timer that slowly ticks down, called rocket fuse. Now, if you don't use your ability by the time that this thing is done, you do lose it. So left click or primary fire is how you shoot it. You're going to see it blows up, and it basically does a big paint explosion and basically insta-kills fish. Now, notice here down at the bottom on my E, it did give me a charge of my E as well. That is because all eliminations that you get after your E has been used count towards refreshing your signature ability, which is your E or your paint shells, which includes ultimate kills that you get, kills with any weapons, and kills that you get with the grenade itself. So the last thing that I want to detonate that some people don't quite seem to know, if you happen to know that someone's hiding in a corner, which we don't have to demonstrate for this purpose, but if you happen to be able to trap someone on top of your grenade and get the kill with them, the grenade kill you get is already going to put you halfway towards getting another grenade charge in the single round. So for this example, I'm just going to throw it right down here. You're going to notice how I have no charges down at the bottom. And then after the charges, I have 1. So if that happened to be the first blood in the round, there's 4 more people. If I can tag 1 more of them, get an elimination on them, then I have a second grenade to use in a round. It's extremely powerful. It snowballs really, really well for a free ability. And I think it's the tool that Raze has for clearing out corners, pushing enemies back, pushing them out of positions where they're comfortable and you're not. And I really think it defines Raze's whole kit. You're going to see it used a lot, so it's an ability you need to get used to playing with and playing around. And I want to compare it to Reyna ult or Jet ult in the sense that the resets allow you to continue using the ability and pushing your character's your character's limits. It's not quite the same because it's not an ultimate ability. It's not an insta kill. It doesn't do anything to buff your attack speed, your gun damage output. But Razor's Grenade's so incredibly powerful, and so many people underestimate how much damage it does. It will kill you at full health with full armor if you're getting hit by everything. The damage it outputs is insane, as with most of Raze's kit, and it's the ability that seems to stick out in a lot of games of Valorant, being like, oh, I underestimated how much damage Raze Grenade was going to deal, or people on your team that are playing Raze are bottom fragging, but 8 of their 10 kills are from her grenade. It's just a really important ability that you need to get used to, and you need to be able to learn how to play around, work with your team to use, and really understand thoroughly. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. This has been the Raze episode. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them down in the comments below. I'll be sure to answer you as soon as I see them. Check out the other videos.
Charges, check. Brakes. nowhere in sight.
Check out the other videos in the Agent Breakdown series. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great day.